Well, it's a little bit later in the evening. It's 5 after 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, West Coast. We were John C. Roseman, California. 17th March 2022, Friday. I guess notes for the class for World Lit, huh? I just gone through a review regarding 1984. I know it's about 2, 3 books long, or maybe it's one huge novel. Looks like War and Peace. But whatever it is, they managed to make sure that Orwell managed to scare the living crap out of people by giving his own version of War of the Worlds, his own attack of the Martians, by having the title character changed into a monster. Or, as they call them, the dead, the walking dead. They're zombies. Zombies that work for the ministry because the ministry wants total control, power, fear, anger. They want it all. And they're willing to torture it to get it all. They're turning a human being into a damn zombie. Of course, you can have the biological feelings, but anything else beyond that, forget it. Humanity's gone. I don't know if we are getting into that situation, or maybe a few countries have already been into that situation already. That sounds like it's already happened a long time ago. North Korea sounds like it more and more as I try to review some of the notes of 1984. And Russia is definitely turning into that. Back in Moscow today, 10 to nearly, what was it, 15 to nearly 20,000. Packing an area where he comes out and he's superstar and he's trying to tell people what's going on. He wants all the adulation. He kept reminding me too many times how the previous administration idiot had did that to a lot of his supporters out there, that they had to believe in him, otherwise it didn't work. They had to keep believing in Donald Trump. And that's kind of a horrible thing right there. They had to have more and more rallies that people were willing to go to. Yet the people in Russia, a lot of them were forced, and the others actually did go on their own choice. So I guess living in a falsified world where everything else is challenged, memories are challenged, ideas are challenged, events are definitely challenged if they actually happened or not, despite the fact that there may be evidence on the contrary to prove that they actually happened. It didn't happen because the other people have turned their back on it. Questioning reality altogether. When you turn yourself against everything else that you believe in, I guess maybe that's part of the worst way of going through hell, is you're turning yourself into a monster. Unlike the creature in Mary Shelley's work, this particular monster is our own making because we can't stand the pain and we have to deal with it in our own way. And we have to capitulate because we have our own levels and our own breaking points, apparently. The way Orwell kept driving this point down people's throat, that there is no hope, there is no faith, there is only the party, there is only the ego, there is only it. And it is everything and you're nothing. And that's what we're dealing with right now. Apparently, people are still trying to come to that conclusion. They'll believe everyone else is lying, and they'll keep running towards anything and everything. After hearing about what the book is all about, I ain't reading it. I observed a hell of a lot tonight regarding the course outlines of it, regarding the summaries. It is not a book I'm willing to read. Brave New World, I read it because I was young and stupid at the time and thought it had interest me, but there was a lot of things, both in Brave New World and in 1984, that contradicted and complemented at the same time. In 1984, redrafted life around itself, the interpretation of life, their observation of life. Compared to the Brave New World, everything had been genetic, but everything had been built there. What scares the hell out of me is we're getting closer to the 1984 aspects and not Brave New World. I wouldn't want either one of them anyway. None of them. But when you have autocratic despots who want the world the way they want it, and they're willing to get it, we came damn close to having that in World War II. But of course, you had three despots going on. You had Italy, Mussolini, Japan, Emperor Hirohito, and then you had Nazi Germany, the schmuck. All three had their own versions of what hell is going to be like. Of course, we also forgot about what Stalin wanted in the first place. He was supposed to be listening to Lenin and his maniacal thought patterns, but also Karl Marx and his lunacy. Stalin was a hell of a lot worse, or almost probably on the same level as Putin right now. I'm still trying to comprehend it all this late at night, to where my brain's probably saying, go back to bed and lay down. Maybe in the morning I'll be a little bit more coherent when it comes time for the discussions of what I need to talk about. An ongoing madman in a country desperate, and it won't get it. Zelensky has probably been told many damn times in many damn ways he's not going to get his damn fly zone. Unless the aircraft had been sneaked in under the radar, under the cover, somehow into the country where you had pilots ready to rock and roll. The Russians would pick it up on radar and then it would have a field day. And if they happen to discover that the aircraft were launched outside of Ukraine, well, that's game over. But if they were actually launched inside Ukraine, it has to be Ukrainian to do this. The only problem is the aircraft are coming from out of Russia into Ukraine, doing the business, and getting the hell out. And I agree that they do need to get air cover in there, but they need to get their own air cover for it. But they need the planes for it. NATO's got them. We ain't got it. They ain't going to give them to them. All because we're afraid of the damn nuke. Somewhere in 1984, when they're changing news things around and trying to do psychological crap on people left and right, the realistic thing is reality bites, reality bleeds, reality's painful, and people die. But if you're unemotional about it, like a particular country, then Ukraine's going to have to do one thing that they're going to have to gather forces to do. If it was possible. If it was possible. Enter into Russia itself. And attack targets there. They're going to have to do something. They can't keep playing a defensive war because he'll keep throwing out his troops at them, left and right. There's only so much we can supply Ukraine. But there's got to be something to break this particular thing that's going to be going against everything that people don't like. And I hate to say it like I'm going against the thought police at this point over here. But there are no rules of war because they have been broken. Everything's on the table. And Ukraine's got to follow that. They have to do it. They can't keep pushing back Putin. Somebody's got to get a bloody nose. They're going to be changing the dynamics of this thing a great deal because Putin has given them no choice and no chance. Ukraine's going to fall if they don't do something beyond their box thinking. NATO's not going to like it. The United States are not going to like it. China's going to be freaking out about it, and so is Putin. But Ukraine's got to do it. Otherwise, they're going down. They can convince themselves otherwise, but they're going down unless they notch it up. And they have to. Putin wanted a war. He wanted a world war. The rules no longer apply. You wanted all hell to break loose. Guess what, Putin? Hell's coming. Hell's coming.